From VOA Learning English, this is the Economics Report.
From VOA Learning English, this is the Economic Report.
Top trade officials reported progress, but no final deal after
Top trade officials reported progress, but no final deal after meetings in Singapore at the end of 2013.
meetings in Singapore at the end of 2013. They met to discuss details of the proposed Trans-Pacific Partnership.
They met to discuss details of the proposed Trans-Pacific Partnership, or TPP.
Or TPP. The plan calls for removing non-tariff trade requirements
The plan calls for removing non-trade requirements among 12 Pacific nations.
among 12 Pacific nations. Supporters say the TPP would make trade easier and create
Supporters say the TPP would make trade easier and create jobs in those countries.
jobs in those countries. But critics say some of the requirements exist to help protect
But some critics say some of the requirements exist to help protect workers and the environment.
workers and the environment. The 12 nations are responsible for about 1/3 of
The 12 nations are responsible for about 1/3 of all world trade.
all world trade. They include Australia, Chile, Japan, Malaysia,
They include Australia, Chile, Japan, Malaysia, Mexico, Peru, Singapore, Vietnam, and the United States.
Mexico, Peru, Singapore, Vietnam, and the United States. Negotiators are attempting to settle several disputes.
Negotiators are attempting to settle several disputes.
Some nations are arguing over intellectual property rights for films and music.
Some nations are arguing over intellectual property rights for films and music.
Charles Bustani is a congressman
Charles Bostany is a congressman from the American state of Louisiana.
from the American state of Louisiana. He notes that in 2011, trade
He knows that in 2011, trade exports and imports with TPP countries
exports and imports with TPP countries supported nearly 15 million jobs in
supported nearly 50 million jobs in the United
the
States.
United States. The Trans-Pacific Partnership is an attempt to
The Trans-Pacific Partnership is an attempt to increase trade by making rules similar
increase trade by making rules similar from one nation to another.
from one nation to another.
Lori Wallach works with the American activist group
Lori Wallace works with the American activist group Public Citizen.
Public Citizen. She says government trade rules protect the environment.
She says government trade rules protect the environment and the health of workers and people who buy imported goods.
And the health of workers and people who buy imported goods. She says rules that make work conditions safe or protect health
She says rules that make work conditions safe or protect health are under attack
are under attack if they are defined as a barrier to international trade.
if they are defined as a barrier to international trade.
Opposition from labor and consumer protection groups
Opposition from labor and consumer protection group means the proposed deal faces
means the proposed deal faces an uncertain future in Washington.
faces an uncertain future in Washington.
The agreement has to be confirmed by many national legislatures.
The agreement has to be confirmed by many national legislatures, including the U.S. Congress. For VOA Learning English.